Before we get into today's video, I did want to let you guys know that this video is for educational purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comments section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. Good morning, my lovelies, my beauties, my friends. My name is Christina and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you will subscribe, stick around, take a chance in hearing some things that I have to say. And if you are a returning subscriber, y'all already know. Y'all are my babies. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you all have had a wonderful weekend. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I know a lot of y'all work on the weekends. And yeah, so I am not going to ramble on too much today before we start this video. This is a very highly requested video. Probably, I've got more emails, DMs, Facebook messages. My family has been asking me to talk about this, so here we are. This is going to be a video talking about the disappearance of Gabby Petito. Now, this is a very ongoing case. Gabby is still missing right now, so things will be changing, I'm sure, hopefully all for the better. But if you guys have not heard about Gabby Petito, let's just start at the beginning. 22-year-old Gabby and fiance Brian, who was 23 years old, was living in Northport, Florida. Gabby liked art, yoga, veggies. She was described as 5'5", 110 pounds, blonde hair, blue eyes, and she just lit up the room. She has Let It Be tattooed on her forearm, and she has a sparkling kind personality. Gabby and her fiance decided they were going to go on this van life journey where they would be traveling all across the country and documenting their experience like we have seen a lot of different YouTubers do. Gabby was super excited about this. She was excited about her blog. She was documenting her travels on her Instagram page, and her boyfriend or fiance, Brian, was doing the same. They got a 2012 Ford Transit and they modified it. And there's little videos of Brian and Gabby modifying the van on her Instagram, and they look like they're having so much fun. I mean, literally, guys, who doesn't want to live this life? Who has not thought about doing this? If you've listened to my podcast, you know I have talked about this lifestyle myself, and they decided to go for it. Now, Gabby and Brian had been together for a little over 2 years, and they were originally living with Brian's parents in Florida, but they were both from New York. Before they decided to pack up everything in their little Ford Transit that they had remodeled and go completely across country documenting their life, they had actually did quite a bit of traveling before this together. So this sounds like an amazing story of this young couple. They have no children yet. They're not married yet, and they are just going to grab life with both hands and go after it. So where do things go wrong? Well, on July 2nd, the two of them leave New York and they start traveling across the country.
Gabby Petito never goes outside.
They stop in Kansas on July 4th. On July 8th, they go to Colorado Springs. On July 16th, they make their way into Utah. And as they continue traveling together, they create a YouTube channel, this one right here. As they continue to travel, they are documenting their good times together, lots of smiles, your typical vlog style thing, all the good stuff, not much of the hard stuff type of thing. Now, during these travels, Gabby is known to always talk to her family. She was very close with her family. She talked to her mom on the phone at least 3 times a week, and if not, text every single day.
At least 3 times a week. We would FaceTime, call, text. frequently. She kept me updated on this whole trip.
Now, on August 12th in Moha, Utah, the cops were called to a domestic dispute. 3 different people told this police officer that they saw this young couple fighting. They saw the girl crying and kind of scratching at him, and the guy basically mugged her in the face. He put his hand on her face, pushed her face away, and then they got into this white Ford Transit and they drove off. Well, the cops, thinking that they need to check on the situation, they found the Ford Transit and they pulled them over.
What's going on? How come you're crying?
I'm sorry, we've just been fighting this morning. Some personal issues.
It was a long day. We were camping yesterday, and camping got stuff, flies and stuff. I'm sorry I hit the bump there.
I was distracting him from driving, I'm sorry.
Can I get you to step out of the vehicle for me, man?
Yeah.
Just hang tight right there. Do you mind if I take your keys and just put them on your hood?
You got it, buddy. I'm so
Thank
sorry.
you. Oh, no, you're fine.
I was just saying, I'm sorry if I'm in a bad mood. I've just been really stressed. I had so much work I was doing on my computer this morning.
What do you do for a living?
Well, I used to work at an organic juice bar, but I just quit my job.
Okay.
I was a nutritionist. That was my
That's
job.
cool.
And I just quit my job to travel across the country. We come all the time, and he really stresses me out, and this is a rough morning.
Probably feel his attention where I was going. Back up, get away, just give me a minute.
Okay, so you said you pushed her to create some distance, obviously, right? What happened after that? What got the scratches on your eye?
The phone.
The phone? So you pushed her and she hit you?
She was it. I feel bad I think it's so public. I was just trying to be loud to get some distance. Just trying to make her calm down and be like, look, everyone's watching. I'll say crisscross applesauce, but can I just sit in the shade because I'm bald? That's okay. I'll give you some shade. Sound good?
Alright, just hang tight for me. I've decided I am not going to cite you for domestic violence battery, okay? It was only going to be a Class B misdemeanor. However, the domestic violence portion of it enhances it. Makes life a major pain in the butt, especially you're 22, right? So I'm choosing not to cite you today. I'm not going to release you guys together. I want you guys to stay away from each other tonight, okay? She's agreed to it. Take some time for yourselves. You guys both have the exact same story as to what led up to the incident. So, taking some time tonight, specifically, taking tonight away from each other is going to be the major breaker in all of this. I think that will help you guys, especially tomorrow when you guys meet up. Just try to not contact each other unless, like I said, earth shattering, something happens, you guys have to jump in the car right now and drive back to Florida because something happened to parents.
Now, when I was watching this with Gabby, my heart broke because while the cop was talking to her, she was crying and saying that Brian did not believe in her. He didn't believe in her dreams. Like, she wanted to do this vlog style thing. He didn't think she could do it. And that just broke my heart. And if you guys, and I will leave it linked down below. On August 24th, Gabby FaceTimed her mom. She seemed completely normal. Her mom was happy to hear from her. Nothing out of the ordinary for her mom. They continued to travel through Utah, and then on August 25th, Gabby spoke to her family again. She told her family that they were on their way to Grand Teton National Park. She was excited to go hiking at this place, and her family was happy to hear from her. So they talked to her on the 24th and the 25th. So you guys can kind of see, like, she FaceTimed on the 24th, then she called on the 25th and let them know where she was going next.
This is in regards to the Brian Laundrie and Gabby, the missing girl. I had taken a trip the end of August from Louisiana up through Colorado and Montana and Wyoming. I picked a friend up at the Jackson Hole Airport on August 26th, Thursday, that morning. And we went through Jackson Hole. Then we went through the Tetons and Yellowstone. We came out the West Gate, and we stayed at West Yellowstone, Montana, for the evening. We went out to a restaurant that night called Bullwinkle's, and about 10 o'clock we moved into the bar. There was us and another couple that we had met while we were eating dinner. We were discussing things, politics, guns, hunting, all the stuff you don't talk about in a bar. And there was a guy at the end of the bar that was just quiet. He was visibly bothered or mad, it looked like, when we came in. And I guess our conversation just kind of irritated that fact when he finally made a comment, something about stupid Southerners and Republicans. And I kind of laughed and said, well, where are you from? And he said that he was from New York in a pretty strong New York accent. And said his name was Brian. And I said, as we laughed, I said, you picked an odd place, the middle of nowhere, a small town in Montana. What did you expect, that you weren't going to run into any conservatives or Republicans? Anyway, not much else was said. He made a couple of remarks, and we went back to our conversation. It was just a creepy encounter. It was one of those situations where it was kind of one of those people, it was almost like he looked through you. I didn't notice him using a phone, things that the FBI have asked. We did notice that he had a backpack. We left about 11:50, and he was still there. My friend was visibly uncomfortable. She even made a comment on the way to the car about serial killers and kept watching behind us to make sure he wasn't following us. And I assured her that it wasn't an issue. I mean, I'm concealed carry. I was actually armed when we were in the bar. And we went to the hotel. We did talk about it on the way home. It was odd. In the last few days, though, we've watched the news and realized that was the guy. That was Brian, this girl's fiance. So we contacted the FBI. Both of us made reports to the FBI. And just kind of watching the news now and seeing where it goes. But that was our encounter.
On August 27th, some YouTubers that were going through the Teton National Park was just kind of filming the driving, and they saw her van.
As we're coming up on it, we're approaching it up here on the left-hand side. This is most definitely Gabby Petito's Ford Transit van. It's kind of wild, like it's sane a little bit, because we drove past. We actually weren't able to find any sites, and we ended up driving back through, saw it again, but here it is on the left.
And I slowed it down so you can possibly see it a little bit better.
And this is when it gets super weird to me. A TikToker came forward and said that on August 29th, so 2 days after these other YouTubers saw this van, they picked up a hitchhiker. It was this young girl and her boyfriend. They picked up a hitchhiker, and they say that it was Brian.
But we picked him up at Coulter Bay, like I said, at 5:30. He approached us asking us for a ride because he needed to go to Jackson, which we were going to Jackson that night. So I said, hop in. He hopped in the back of my Jeep. We then, proceeded to make small talk. But before he came in the car, he offered to pay us like $200 to give him a ride, like 10 miles. So that was kind of weird. He then told us he's been camping for multiple days without his fiance. He did say he had a fiance, and that she was working on their social media page back at their van. Then once, in conversation, I brought up, we're going to Jackson. He freaked out. He's like, nope, I need to get out right now. Pull over. So we pulled over at the Jackson Dam, which I don't know if you know Teton Park, but it's not very far from Coulter Bay. We dropped him off at 6:09 p.m. on August 29th. He kind of hurried out of the car, and then he's like, okay, I'm just gonna go find someone else to hitchhike. And we're like, okay. It was a weird situation. So when we picked him up, he was wearing a backpack, he had a long sleeve pants, hiking boots, and he had scruff, but he didn't look dirty. For someone who was camping for multiple days, he didn't look dirty, he didn't smell dirty.
Now on September 1st, Brian returned home with the van without Gabby. On September 11th, Gabby's parents became frantically worried because they had not heard from their daughter since August 30th, possibly, but even longer before that. So we're talking 3 or so weeks. They try to get a hold of Brian. They can't get anything from him. They call the cops. The cops get involved. The cops show up at Brian's house, and what do you know? The van is there, and a lawyer is there ready to speak to them. He had already lawyered up, and he enacted his right to remain silent. So the cops are showing up at Gabby's fiance's front door, wanting to know where she's at, and he's already got a lawyer, and he's saying he don't want to talk. He don't want to talk. Parents are super duper upset. They have been begging the media, Brian's parents, anybody to just say, tell us where to look for our daughter. Now everybody's looking for Gabby.
I have a letter that they want to send to Christopher and Roberta Laundrie, and I'm going to read it at this time, and then I'll take limited questions. Christopher and Roberta Laundrie, we are writing this letter to ask you to help find our daughter. We understand you are going through a difficult time, and your instinct is strong to protect your son. We ask you to put yourselves in our shoes. We haven't been able to sleep or eat, and our lives are falling apart. We believe you know the location of where Brian left Gabby. We beg you to tell us. As a parent, how could you let us go through this pain and not help us? As a parent, how could you put Gabby's younger brothers and sisters through this? Gabby lived with you for over a year. She's going to be your daughter-in-law. How can you keep her location hidden? You were both at Jim and Nicole's house. You were both so happy that Brian and Gabby got engaged. Please, if you or your family have any decency left, please tell us where Gabby is located. Tell us if we are even looking in the right place. All we want is for Gabby to come home. Please help us make that happen.
Good afternoon. My name is Charles Jones. I'm the Supervisory Senior Resident Agent here in Wyoming for FBI Denver. First and foremost, on behalf of the FBI personnel and our partners, I would like to extend sincere and heartfelt condolences to Gabby's family. Joe and Tara Petito and Jim and Nicole Schmidt. As every parent can imagine, this is an incredibly difficult time for the family and friends. Our thoughts and prayers are with them. We ask that you all respect the privacy as they mourn the loss of their daughter. Earlier today, human remains were discovered, consistent with the description of Gabby Petito. Full forensic identification has not been completed to confirm 100% that we found Gabby, but her family has been notified of this discovery. The cause of death has not been determined at this time. We appreciate your continued support and patience as we work through this process.
Everything seemed to be happy. You were on a cross-country trip with her. and suddenly you're silent. Why? Why are you silent? Whatever may or may not have happened, you need to speak up.
Let me know what y'all think in the comments section down below. As always, my loves, thank you so much for watching this video. Please do not forget to like it. It's a free way that you can help your girl out. And until next time, I love you guys so very much. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye. Love you guys. Bye.